Let's see how we can do it.
Better. It was entering my eye, very bad.
Welcome to another edition of Under the Mango Tree, ladies and gentlemen. We want to be discussing today Edo 2020 gubernatorial elections and Obaseki's litany of failed promises, all the promises that Governor Godwin Obaseki has made to the people of Edo State in different areas of governance, but has failed to redeem his pledges. I have on my panel today, on my left, Comrade Solomon Idiogbe. Welcome.
You, Mr. Mahmoud.
On my right is Comrade Idris Zekeri. Welcome, Idris.
Thank you, as always, for having me today.
So, Edo 2020 gubernatorial elections and Obaseki's litany of failed promises. Let me list just a few, and then we can jump into one of them. We have Gelegele Seaports, we have Benin Industrial Park, we have Sobe Farms, we have Edo Innovation Hub, so-called Silicon Valley. We have 200,000 jobs. We have Benin Technical College, Tayo Apata University, College of Agriculture, School of Health Sciences, the Stormwater Project, National Sports Festival, Ogbemudia Stadium, Operation Waibazagan, Wabai Zigan, 10 million promised to the widow of a driver, 100 million promised to Uelu Market traders, and then Etiosa Market, sorry, and then of course the Edo State Fire Service. Let's go from the top. Comrade Zekeri, Gelegele Seaport. What is going on there?
Nothing.
But something is going on there. Fishing.
I've answered the question. Next one.
But then we've had, there was the promise that Gelegele Seaport was going to be open. What are the challenges? What is the current situation? Why are we not hearing anything about the progress that has been made up to this point? This is 4 years later.
Well, that is what you see when you overpromise and you underdeliver. Reminiscent of what the Benin man we call Obubu Yeye. The more you look, the less you see. Do you know that with the announcement that Gelegele was going to be made a seaport, the hitherto peaceful Gelegele and surrounding community became a place of violence and mayhem, because the people who were there, the Ijos and the Benin that have been living in Gelegele as brothers and sisters for donkey years, all of a sudden they became enemies on the premise they are trying, because they are thinking that seaport is coming. Now people are beginning to drag for tough. Whereas the governor from the get-go knew that he had no plans for Gelegele. So when you ask me what is going on in Gelegele, I think the best person to ask that question is either the governor or a spokesman on media, Crusoe Sage. Maybe they will explain to you if they are importing the seaport to come and install. Maybe they have constructed it in China. They are now using ship to bring so that they can just install it, the way you install SIM card in your phone. Or if there's any other plan they have for that place. Seaport is not a small project. So when they were making this loud-mouthed project, then we already knew we were on a journey to nowhere. But unfortunately, we supported them and they emerged, and today the story is different. So that's my take on Gelegele Seaport. It's a waste of time. Let Edo not expect. It's one of those promises that will never materialize. Even if you give Obaseki 100 years in office, it will not materialize. So Gelegele, no go happen. Don't forget that even that Gelegele, if you have a seaport in Gelegele, you have to dredge. You have to dredge the waterways from Gelegele. You dredge it to the Gelegele port, so that ships can move from the Atlantic Ocean to the port. Has that contract been awarded? Can a subnational government do that? That they will dredge, remove all the sand so that ships can move down to Gelegele. So there's nothing going on in Gelegele, and the people of Gelegele should not fight themselves again. The Jaws and the Benins of Gelegele are brothers and sisters, all under the Omonoba. Because everybody that stays in this part of the state, we are all under the Omonoba, under the traditional leadership of Omonoba. So the Ijos and the Benis in Gelegele should not keep fighting because they believe that an imaginary seaport is coming. It's not coming. It's a litany of faith promises. It's one of those faith promises that will never be achieved. Thank you very much.
And so we go on to the next one. You are under the mango tree. Join us by sending your comments through Facebook. Come to Bloomshire/Facebook. Or you can call the number on the screen and join us directly on the conversation. Comrade Solomon, Benin Industrial Park, where are we? What is the status? What's going on? Is that a promise? Has it been delivered?
It was a promise, and it's still a promise. It has always remained a promise. And when you ask me where we are where we were, and where we are. I just said that on the softer side. That we are just where we are. I recall very vividly in 2016 when we were all moving around, hoping that something good was coming to Edo State. Because it Governor Godwin Obaseki's march upon which he came was on continuity. And he only added the likes of Gelegele Seaport, Benin Industrial Park, and a host of others. In fact, most prominent amongst was this Gelegele, Benin Industrial Park, and the 200,000 jobs. But I didn't mention that, Mr. Mahmood. Let me say this, that the Benin Industrial Park is just a park by name, not in deeds, not in actions. One would have expected that by now, jobs would have been created, jobs would have been ongoing, jobs would have been effected, because the Gelegele Seaport, the Benin Industrial Park, was part of the reasons why he promised the 200,000 jobs. That once you have the Gelegele Seaport functional, when you have the Benin Industrial Park working, the 200,000 job creation would have been there. I'm using the word creation now because that's what the social media eras are now saying. That he didn't say he was giving 200,000 jobs, but he was creating 200,000 jobs. And I had argued that if you say create and give, then Edo would have been, in fact, better than what they usually refer to as small London. But I haven't said that, Mr. Mahmood. To answer your question directly, where are we? Nowhere. What is happening at the Benin Industrial Park? Nothing. Just the same thing, the same way we can say nothing is happening with the Sobe farms. Just the same way we are saying that the farm settlements that he has talked about, that nothing is actually happening. But I can tell you for free, because the area proposed for the Benin Industrial Park is not far from the city. It's just along Sapele Road. And as we speak, the community about a week or two ago came out to protest that the governor had already ceded part of their land to one company, that they were going to destroy their gojo and their houses to one farms who was coming to do settlement, having collected from them a large expanse of land purportedly for the Benin Industrial Park.
But you also mentioned the Sobe farms. Yes. So while you are on the subject, what is the status of the Sobe farms also? That is also another
it's another fake promise. I can tell you for free that Godwin Obaseki has left gaps between promises and performance. And when you say Sobe farms, the Sobe farms is where it was, where it is, and it has not progressed. The farms have not been able to. I'm not sure, Mr. Mahmood, that since the mention of Sobe farms, that there have been anything, maybe from the market, because yes, the Wike told us a few days ago that during the COVID-19, they reached out to the farmers and they ensured that crops, farm produce, were bought from the farmers, stored within River State, fishes, yams, and everything. I am sure you have not seen anything so said or so specified that is from Sobe farms. Because when you say farms, it means we know Sobe to be very rich in agriculture. If you want to buy plantain, you go to Sobe area, you see it in large quantity. I I've not seen anything like that happening. So if you ask me again, even while waking up from my sleep, I'll tell you very clearly that nothing has happened with the Sobe fans, and nothing is happening with the Sobe fans, just like nothing has happened with the Gelegele Seaport and the Benin Industrial Park. It were all just promises to gain power, just like he's promising now that so much things will happen if he's given a second term. And I can tell you, if the man could not perform anything in the last 3 years that he said he was going to perform, because he told us that within 100 days in office, we were going to see magic happening with the areas of the Gelegele Seaport, and that was going to bring a free trade zone. Because in the Gelegele Seaport that my brother talked about just now, he said there was going to be a free trade zone where goods would be brought and all that. My brother, what happened to Gelegele is the same thing happening to Industrial Park, and that's the same thing that has happened to some farms. I said I don't know if because I know that my brother is from Donuts, and they are although predominantly farmers, they have a farm settlement around there. I don't know if they've given them some expanse of land in Sobe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are under the mango tree and we are discussing a litany of failed promises as we approach the 2020 gubernatorial elections. You can join us anytime by calling the number on the screen. It will flash. Call us and join this conversation. I'm going to direct my next question to you, Comrade Idris. Edo Innovation Hub, the so-called Silicon Valley of Edo.
No, it's not so-called. That's what they call it.
It's okay.
Valley.
So the Edo Innovation Hub, it was meant to achieve what? Where is it and what is going on? Before you go into that question, let me quickly take a call. I think we have a caller. Hello?
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. What's your name, sir, and where are you calling from?
My name is Ibrahim Mahmoud. I'm calling from Auchi.
Ibrahim Mahmoud. Good afternoon, sir.
From Auchi. Thank you very much, sir.
Please make your comment, please.
Yes, I just want to contribute that this government came into existence in 2015. We have witnessed a series of promises that have ended at the level of MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. As we speak, the 100,000 dollars that was promised in 2015 is still being expected and awaited. We were promised that there would be an industrial park within 2 years of the life of the administration. As we speak, we are still expecting it. We were also promised that the Gelegele Seaport will be transformed into an industrial Eldorado. It will become a commercial site. As we speak, Gelegele is still at the level of MOU. We were promised continuity in the area of the waterfront project. As we speak, whenever it rains, even in the whole of the donor, I will see specifically where I reside. The whole place is usually submerged into gully erosion.
Gully erosion.
Yes, that is the major problem we are facing right here.
Okay.
The government promised that they were going to solve it. But as we speak, we are still under the threat of erosion. Perhaps we will hope one day how it will no longer be in the map of the state or even in Nigeria.
Which part of Auchi are you calling from, Ibrahim?
I am speaking from the EAK.
EAK, okay.
So it has been a litany of failed promises in this. We are tired. We are just waiting for September 19 when we will do the meeting. But I'd like to use this opportunity to commend the initiative behind the Under the Mango Tree program. I pray that God will continually bless people.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
To speak and give you the resources to carry on.
Amen.
God keep us alive.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, Ibrahim. That was Ibrahim calling from Auchi, and he pretty much keyed into what we were saying. And you were about to discuss the innovation hub.
Yes.
Yes.
Before the innovation hub, the Sobek farm was meant to supply corn. It was supposed to be a 6 months farm. That when they will put in money, I think they put in about 600 million, it was going to bring out corn. In fact, it was going to produce so much corn that people will come from the north to buy corn from us. Talk of what the Benin man call Obubu Yeye.
Seasonal crops.
Seasonal crop. But let's leave all that. You said I should talk on the innovation hub. It is there. If you know Benin City very well, after 5 junction, the next turn, when you pass through Wire Road, the first turn by your right.
If you are coming from Ugbowo.
If you are coming from Ugbowo.
If you are coming from Ring Road before 5 junction.
Before 5 junction. The last turn by your left before 5 junction. So, it's there. The building is there. First of all, that building is not new. It was not built from the scratch. It's a pre-existing.
It was built by Lucky Benedion administration.
Structure built by Lucky Benedion administration. Inside the compound of ICE, Institute of Continued Education, Benin City. Interestingly, I am a product of Institute of Continued Education, Aochi. Our Benin headquarters was where you have that so-called Silicon Valley. They are derogatorily comparing a building to Silicon Valley. But let us explain some of those things. It will shock you to know that to rent, if you want to conduct training now for journalists, like you are a veteran broadcaster, if you want to conduct training now for those youth in journalism, for you to pay for that hall, I think it's 50,000 naira an hour.
Yeah, per hour. Yes.
And as soon as you are completing, the state government will add your name and the name of all your participants to those they have trained in the building. You provided a building, good. You provided a conditioner inside the building, good. How does that not translate to mean that you are the one training the people being trained inside? I have attended a training there by Oxfam. You and I know that Oxfam is an international organization that reaches out to Africa, trains them in agriculture and other areas to help the African youth grow. I went there, Oxfam training, because I've been hearing Edo State training. So I went there. I got an invite. I came. Only for me to discover that Oxfam were the ones doing it, not Edo State government. And as soon as you are through, they will take your name, they will take your details, they will put it in their data bank as one of those who have been trained by Edo State government. Whereas their one kobo is not in it. As a matter of fact, they paid Edo State government to carry out that training in that venue.
Let me quickly take this call and hear what the contribution is. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Who is calling and where are you calling from, please?
Good afternoon. Mary Blessing.
Hello, Blessing. How you doing?
I did fine. This is my program. I watched the best one on this just now. My mama is same for a market. But it's not going to say we have for the best market for the police. So, there when it can happen, you don't really they did well for house. I bet if you get us now, go pick here with this governor. When I'm talking about them, go to my airport with them. When they do that, most of the big share, big market, they go pick up their mama rates at them.
Okay.
To pick a big for house, something like that.
But Blessing, governor promise saying go give una money. The money never come out.
100 million.
Abi, you no reach your hand.
They don't give you the money. Yet you don't receive any money.
What of una association?
They don't reach. They don't give. Comfort, they don't reach. They don't give. I would say, but it's not people reach my mama hand. For this time, they don't give anything.
How una come dey do? Una still dey the market, abi una dey for school because of this COVID-19 matter?
And the mom, they say, basis of sentence, basis of all of them, basis of crazy. For this time around now, most of them not going to tie 50 years, let's go to the tie. Because of that one, I will not see the fees for house again.
Okay, Blessing, we don't hear. We go talk your matter. Thank you. Now you try. Thank you.
Well, when
That was Blessing. She was referring to the earlier program where we spoke about the fires in Edo State and the market. It's still relevant to some of the promises.
Mahmoud,
So let me bring this to you now.
Listening to her comment, I felt very sympathetic. You know, you gave them hopes. It would have been better you didn't go to the market.
You didn't promise at all. You didn't promise.
Ab initio, they will not have hopes than for it to be dashed. They had so much hopes. Governor come, he used the man talking, so they are hopeful. Some would even go borrowing, you know, thinking that when he comes, at least something will come, take shot on that side. But in the end, you know, like the woman who used to buy basin of pepper or crayfish, she's now buying small quantity, tying according to her 50-50 naira. You can understand what that promise,
the quantum of loss,
that promise alone has done. It has damaged. You know, my brother was talking about supposed, in quote, Silicon Valley. You didn't finish it. It will interest you to know that when you get there, those companies are Lagos-based. I met the person in charge of the hub. He said, does it really matter? Because you see University of something hall, University of so and so hall, you know, and then they say there's training going on. Thank God you true likes to it. It's 50,000 naira per hour for usage of the hall. Mahmoud, if you have a program there, you pay for it, and then they are timing you. It's by seconds billing. Now, in the end, if you do a program and then there's empowerment, like he said, they'll collect it and go put in their database as though they have done empowerment for young persons. It's just the same thing I asked them. Precisely, the lady called Ukinebo, she said she's in charge of Edo jobs, and I asked, what is this Edo? After so much interrogation and discourse, I got to know that Edo job is just a website. Just a website. What do they do, Mr. Mahmoud? It will just you to know that they go to Vanguard newspaper, Guardian newspaper, collect the job advertorials.
Job advert.
There. Just lift it and put it on the website. Then a friend of mine, his wife, read microbiology and said they took them and they were training them. She went to that training for about 2 weeks. And the next thing we got to know was that the I don't want to mention the name of the pure water company, was the one that now came and wanted to employ them because they were thinking it was
proper job.
Yeah, government job. And then the whole thing became somehow. So point being made here is that governments do what we refer to today as audio money. They make promises, they give you fake informations. I was taken aback when I listened to Mr. Governor on the day they did teacher something in Lagos. And then he was saying,
let's hold that thought for a quick second while I take this call. Hello, good afternoon. Who is speaking and where are you calling from?
My name is Motinya. I call from Idopo.
Hello, your name now?
Motinya.
Motinya.
I call from Idopo.
Okay, Motinya, what do you want to talk?
I just want to ask this governor, why is he supporting those people? When he will just come in the necessary, no one is not fixing. During when this sickness comes, I don't know what they call it.
COVID-19.
COVID-19, they said they will give us food. After the doctor now, food not there. Food not there. When you take care of children, I will not see. My wife now, you know, they still go market again, they still make stuff for house. We don't say like that. That's not ever help us to not do it.
Thank you, Motinya. So this is even a different thing entirely. Now he's talking about the palliatives that the government promised when the COVID-19 pandemic demanded that everybody should stay at home.
Mahmoud, I'm not sure you watched the last part. I was seated one day in my sitting room watching news when I saw that the last set of palliative was meant purely for his political party members, according to him. And the local government's chairmen were coming to collect. And so I was now asking, does COVID-19 has
party affiliation?
Party affiliation. That's the much we have seen from this government. But you see, I was talking on the so-called Silicon Valley, that nothing happens there. Government is not, the building was not built by him. That road is called ICE road.
That's ICE road.
ICE
popular
has
ICE
been there for decades. When Lucky Benedio came, he saw the need to give it a reface. And so he left the administrative block and put that big edifice there. I can remember it was a high personality that came to do the commissioning of that place.
Just like they are claiming Stella Obasanjo now. It was built by the
Lucky Benedio administration.
As bad as he is, as much as we criticize the Benedion, you can still point to one or two things and say Benedion did this one, Benedion did this one. But this our present government, you cannot point to one thing of value and say they are beat this.
Today, I was listening as somebody was referring to Secretariat building as done by Obaseki. And thank God somebody was there to quickly correct him that it was during late Samuel S.O. Bemudia that building was built. What is just busy doing is renovation, or if you like, refacing. That is not to say that he's not doing beautiful works at the other back extension. That is not to say that. But here we are. When your performance are less than the ones we are expecting, then you know what that they call that performance indicator. It means it's low. It's far below board. You know, a few days ago we were arguing, and somebody mentioned that only one rain has unveiled the non-effectiveness of this government. And somebody said it's Adams Oshomole. How did Adams Oshomole come to bring to bear the rainfall that fell a few days ago? Was Erejawa constructed by Adams Oshomole?
No, the car sunk. That's the area, the pastor car sunk. That's the area where that broke down.
Yes. Was that done by?
It is not a joke.
Yes.
We are not a joke in the public space.
Was that done by Adams Oshomole? Mahmoud, it will interest you for that. That Adams left this city. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you saw it. Maybe you had also visited it. Maybe you took your children there. The beautiful water fountain at the King Square. Today is a shadow of itself. Bats are now the ones that
humans don't go there.
Around it.
It's a bat.
And now, Mahmoud, I would say further that the street lights are working. We had a beautiful scenario in Benin City at night. Fair like beautification. Because part of the mandate that Adams, stood on that he was doing was re-beautification of the Benin City.
Returning Benin City to the original master plan.
Now, today, drive around Benin City at night, no light. Oh, you say, okay, street lights. But let me tell you, there were generating sets. People like us from the civil society world criticize Adams for paying generator to power it for 1 year. Because after the street lights, he paid the contractors for fueling or whatever. But the lights were on. Benin City was good. It was fine. You could drive around, you see almost a pin on the floor. But it will interest you, Mahmoud, that those generators were removed and sold. Waiting for one power plant from Osium or from somewhere.
Yes, to generate the power.
Now,
sorry, sir. We can wait for the power plant to come. Why the generators continue to power the street?
Power even too far, my brother. I can tell you. Have you driven around the streets of Benin lately? The street lights are not working. Others left the street lights working. The street lights are there in the city. No one is working. We are having traffic issues. And we were happy when we saw Eczema because it was really beautiful. They started well. But of course now it's that maybe because of the campaigns they are trying to relax. But I don't see them working as they were earlier. Because when they came with triple E. Enlightenment, engineering, and enforcement. I can still remember that was what their
manual.
Yes, their is it the manager said or whatever. Then, and they started with the enlightenment. They did the engineering. The engineering was to fix the street lights, and when they refix those street lights, we had problems. The street light will keep you for 10 minutes.
The traffic light.
Yes, the traffic light. They will keep you for 10 minutes and pass you for less than 1 minute. and then created traffic congestion. Now even the street lights,
The traffic light are
the
there. They are
traffic
very
lights are no longer working. So these are parts of the problems we are saying. That when you make promises, if you met a landmark, what was the reason shutting down the beautiful water fountain at Ring Road? Why did you turn Edo State from light to darkness at night? Why have you not gone back fixing the traffic lights that you met? These are part of so many fake promises. I can tell you for sure that Governor Godwin Obaseki has left so much gaps between his promises and performance.
Let's go to another promises, another of the more famous promise, the one that will affect the youth of Edo State, 200,000 jobs. I'm sure this is not the first time that you are hearing this. It was one of the planks and the promises.
Yes, he said it on TV. I still have the video. We still have the video.
So where are we with those jobs? How many jobs have been created? Who are these jobs for, and what is left?
If you ask the governor and his supporters, they will tell you they've created about 100, and they will not tell you precisely. They will say they have created about
He said
157, 159,000 jobs. But the bitter truth is that as of today, we cannot point to a single individual that is working under those 200,000 jobs that you have talked about. Let me explain. Some of these key projects, Gele Seaport, Benin Industrial Farm, Benin Industrial Park, Sobe Farm. Don't forget the Benin Industrial Park ought to be modeled along the lines with, as the Oluyole Industrial Park in Ogun, where you have PZ Cousins that produce all this cream and all those things.
Yes.
All those things were some of the things that were conceived by those who conceived his manifesto then, that when he was able to come up with those projects, bring them on stream, to create 200,000 jobs would be a joke. They will even create far more than that. However, as he emerged as governor, he completely jettisoned these very laudable ideas and projects. As we speak today, the 200,000 jobs is a fantastic failure. There's nobody can come out and say I am a beneficiary of the 200.
Do you mean it's a beautiful nonsense?
No, it will be a fantastic failure. Okay. Nobody can come out today and say I am a beneficiary of the 200,000 jobs. Instead, by the time you engage them, this is the part that gets me really angry. When you engage them, they will call Empower beneficiaries, because Empower has about 10,000 beneficiaries in Benin. Just now, another 18,000, they are planning to recruit another 18,000, apart from another 4,000 for Empower Batch C. Then they are planning to recruit 18,000 for 1,000 for local government, federal government intervention, the 20,000 for public work program. They will come and tell you that the government is the one that has created those jobs. And you ask them how. They say he created the avenue for those jobs to be created. Let me ask you a simple question. I am a Christian. Scripture said, God said in the scripture, he said, let us create man in our own image
and likeness.
And in our own likeness. Did God say, when God said it, what did he do? He made man and breathed life into it. Meaning, he worked very hard and crowned his effort with success. Breathed life so that the man can now begin to operate on his own. Did God tell you that he wants to create an environment so that someone else will come and create man? Because that is the explanation. You say you will create 200,000 jobs. We say, okay, sir, where is the 200,000 jobs? You say no. We don't understand. Does create have two meaning in the dictionary? Create means to bring into existence. And bringing into existence means when you say you wanted to create 200,000 jobs, you wanted to bring 200,000 jobs that didn't pile, that didn't exist before. You wanted to bring them into existence. And now when we say, where are the 200,000 jobs? You say no. The federal government jobs are all part of it because you created the environment for the creation of the job. Whether there's environment or not, those jobs would have come. That is the truth. Nyesom Wike of Rivers State is a PDP state. They have those same jobs. Ekiti has the same job. Lagos has the same jobs. Borno has the same jobs. Anambra has the same job. APGA. So you creating an environment begs the question. If you have said you want to create jobs, you should go ahead and create jobs. If you have created jobs now and failed in all the other areas, you say yes, Edo youths are working. Edo youths are productively engaged. And in any case, it does not cost government money to create jobs. It does not cost them so much money. All you need to do is bring in certain things, and when those things are working, money will come back to you. Imagine they had a stone grinding company in Edo North, a food processing factory in Edo Central, and then they reactivated some of those major companies. Maybe Bender Breweries was reactivated. If they have reactivated those ones, when you are selling the beer, more money is coming back
to you,
to the government. So you are not actually, in the real sense of it, you are even making a profit and you are creating jobs. So the 200,000 jobs, as an Edo youth, I can tell you conveniently, I have people under me, more than 100 persons under me, that I hold the duty of leadership. I can tell you that it's non-existent. If it was existent, we would have heard about it. To prove further that it's non-existent, just the other day, Empower came out with by C. We have encouraged our youth to go and apply. They have all applied. Now that they have applied, thank God that it's going to be free and fair. There's no manipulation. We are encouraging them to also pray and to also talk to their pastors and their imams, because there's no hope here unless we change this government in September 19.
So, Comrade Solomon, I want to ask you about Benin Technical College, Tayo Akpata University, College of Agriculture, School of Health Sciences. Which of them is a promise fulfilled?
None of the above. Benin Technical College, for one of the projects, he told us that he will be celebrating his 100 days in office. Just like he said, groundbreaking and whatever, both Giligili and Industrial Park would have reached appreciable stage and all that. Today, 3 years gone, Benin Technical College is still being built. Maki, inside Benin Technical College, we had a mini-size swimming pool.
Yes.
We had, in fact, Benin Technical College, because I heard somebody talking, they produce. Have been producing before now. I have a friend, he's a draftsman. He's a product of Benin Technical College. I have a boy who is into mechanical works. He's a product of Benin Technical College. They used to do crankshaft grinding inside Benin Technical College. Now,
Sorry, I know this is your time, but when you talk of Benin Technical, I get emotional. I was a teacher in Benin Technical College for 2 years. Some of the persons watching us now are my product, my students. As soon as I came back from youth service, the first assignment I got was an auxiliary teacher in Benin Technical College. I taught maths there for 2 years, between the period 2016 to 2018, before I left the school. As at the time I was teaching in Benin Technical College, my students were fixing my car. When I drive to work and there's any problem in my car, I call them, Godwin, this person, this way. They come and they fix it. If my cars have any issue, the one we cannot do within the school, as I am driving out, they have various workshops that we attach them to. When we train them, we attach them to workshops. And those workshops, they work there and learn. They get extra skills added to the one we teach them in the classroom. You understand? And the way the government planned, that Adidato planned to do the Benin Technical College that has failed now, is promised. But I was there. He came to visit 3 times within 2 years. First 2 years in office. Well, that was supposed to be his signature project. He said he was going to build a power station inside the compound of Benin Technical College to power the Benin Technical College and environs. We must remind our people of all this, because when you are talking, people will be abusing you. Because they don't know. Ignorance is not bliss. Now, you promised all that, and as of today, 3 years down the line,
it's still being built.
It's still under construction.
Yeah, still being built.
Now, let's even leave whether it's under construction or not. It will shock you to know that more than 80% of that project is being financed by the World Bank and CIFOR. It's being financed by the World Bank and CIFOR. As at the time I was there, CIFOR had already supplied the equipment. World Bank had come to visit. A World Bank representative have come to visit. People from Central Bank have come to visit. The question is, what is now your own inside as the governor of the state?
MOU.
Please, sorry.
So you go.
It's okay.
Let us talk. You talk. Tell us about Tayo Akpata University, the College of Agriculture, College of School of Health Sciences.
Tayo Akpata University was before now College of Education, Ekeadolo. It serves several purposes for the people there. Students come in there, learn and go. Indigents were employed either as casual workers or as main staff or some other extracurricular activities that could keep them going. There was a symbiotic relationship between the school and the indigenes. You know why? Because as students come in off-camp settlements, people get, money, and by way of renting the apartments and all that. All that stopped when the school was changed from College of Education, Ekeadolo, to Tayo Akpata University for Education. And then projects started. When Mr. Governor came, he stopped everything, because the last batch of students to transform from the College of Education to the university, then they were trying to run it, see how they could run affiliations. That's almost when Adams was exiting. And when Mr. Governor came, he put a halt in there to, they'll say they want to do audits, they want to do this. And then before we knew, there were protests and all whatnot. And the latest we got to know is that the man transferred the body to TED Fund. It became a TED Fund project. Why? Because we are, just like he mentioned, the Benin Technical College being funded by World Bank and CIFOR and EU. You understand?
Yes.
So it is with this Benin Technical College thing. Today, it is being taken over by the federal government education fund or whatever. And so when it becomes like a federal government project, it's going to take for like
much longer time.
Now that takes us to College of Agriculture, Igoriaki.
Yes.
That he wants to make settlements, to be an agric university where you have campuses in the 3 senatorial districts, ditto the Tayo Akpata University, that they're going to have campuses still as we speak. The School of Health was supposed to undergo renovation and all that. Mahmoud, it is the same story that was said in 2016 while campaigns was on. The only thing that has changed is that there has been MOU signed in millions of dollars in the name of Edo States, greasing palms of cronies and friends from either Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, the UK, or the US. So far so good. Who have suffered? Edo people have suffered. Let me tell you, the Tayo Akpata University of Education, whether you like it, if you like, you still want to call it College of Education, because the people of Ekeadolo are already now clamoring that it was better a College of Education than to have a university that is not functional. That's what the Benin we call Atoriokpa or Masafian Uyemila. It's better to eat fowl and live long than to eat cow and die young. Then we have left that. The School of Health and all these institutions are in Edo South. And when you hear he say Adams Oshiomhole is a godfather, and people like us begin to wonder, what do you mean by even the godfather? He puts university in his home village.
Opposite his house.
Opposite his house. He has given them teaching hospital. He gave them a proper barracks. He turned their roads in the village.
Into the bush.
Street lights.
Into the bush.
Oh, if that's how to do God, you do godfather too. Do it for Edo South, let's see. And you're coming to, because I've asked somebody, you said Komegada Saliu Oshiomhole is a godfather. Does he have a commissioner in your administration? Does he have a councillor in your administration? Does he have a local government chairman? Because you are saying you move his local government chairman. The only commissioner he had, I can tell you, for free, was Mika Menoka from Agane Bode. 1 year and a half into his administration, he sacked the man. Is he the one responsible for your SSG? Or is he the one responsible for your chief of staff? Does he have an SSA in your government? Is he the one bringing your contractors to fix job for you?
To the substandard job.
Does he have any influence on any of the jobs you are doing, if at all you are doing? So how do you say he's a godfather? Oh, because you went to national screening of the APC and your documents were not complete. When people say he was victimized, why didn't Godwin Obaseki submit the same certificate he submitted in APC screening?
Should have submitted in PDP.
Where did he submit it? They don't know. I'll tell you now. They submitted his SSC. Why did he not submit that same certificates that created problems with the APC. And so I see that as giving a dog a bad name in order to argue, well, diversionary. So that I don't also divert. We're talking about fake promises.
Yes, but let me even ask you, what is the current status of all of these schools that we
Comatose.
The Benin Technical College,
Comatose.
Tayo Akpata University,
Comatose.
College of Agriculture,
Comatose.
and then the School of Health Sciences.
Under lock and key.
We are under the mango tree, ladies and gentlemen, and we are discussing Obaseki's litany of failed promises as we approach the 2020 gubernatorial elections. Please feel free to join us by calling the number on the screen or sending your message through Facebook/Bloomshire. Now, Comrade Idris, the Stormwater Project. Where are we? What is the status of the Stormwater Project? It's supposed to have been one of those legacy projects that was handed over
to the governor.
Yes, for continuity.
Well, one of the major plank that Governor Godwin Obaseki campaigned on, or should I say was marketed on, because looking back now, the man didn't make any campaign for himself. They marketed him. One of the crux of it.
Are you saying it was a packaged goods?
Yes, yes. In all fairness to everybody, but the man didn't show any sign that he was ready for leadership. One of the campaign pillars he anchored his campaign on was that he was going to run a government of continuity. That is why some of those who were core supporters of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole supported him in toto. Now, we are talking of the Stormwater Project. It was started by Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. Some areas were covered. I'll give you a good example. Do you know that on Airport Road, the gutter under that Airport Road, a truck can run inside? The big drains under the Airport Road. It was phase 1 of the Stormwater Project. Do you know that there are big gutters along Siloko Road that channels water all the way from Urban Market and the environs through Siloko Road? Do you know that Igbinaduwa Street, off Siloko Road, it is a road like that road in the next 50 years, nothing will happen to it. It was built, you are on top of it is a road, but under it's a huge waterway under that place.
Cars could even drive through it because it's wide.
It's very big.
Yeah.
A full vehicle can enter inside when you open it.
Not even one.
Now, do you know that in 5 junction, under that 5 junction you are seeing, there are gutters under, big gutters under, that you were supposed to use to channel floods all through
to Ikpoba
River.
They will connect to the Waterstone project, even up to street 21 at EDPA.
BDPA in Ugbowo. I'm coming.
Then it will channel that of Uselu Shell Axis, and then connect to Okoro, then to Upper Lawani, to Upper Mission, to Ewa, to Ikpoba River.
Do you know that in Upper Lawani and Upper Lawani, there are gutters there that carry water to Temboga?
Yes.
Do you know that just beside this school, the school, if you are going towards New Benin, once you pass Okoro Junction, the school to your
Edopolo?
No, not Edopolo. Once you pass Okoro Junction like this.
Okay, Egosa Grammar School.
Egosa Grammar School. Have you seen the collection basin there? Let's leave Benin City. When I was growing up in Auchi, I will never fail to mention where I come from. Before
you continue. Do you know that the Waterstone project was purposely targeted to navigate through moats?
The old Benin moat, originally dug by our forefathers.
Yes, so that it can help to also further carry these waters in larger quantity down to the river. Where was this government when people built on the moats at the Erejawa that the commissioner yesterday was saying she wants, because it was built during this administration?
I'm coming.
Even Mbembe.
Yeah? Let us leave Benin City. Let's go to Auchi, Edo North. When I was growing up, we had what we called in Auchi language Udeye. Udeye means big hole. There was a huge gully that was threatening the very lives of Auchi. The collaboration between the then government of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole and New Map under the World Bank, that one no dey lie say na him do am, whereas na World Bank dey do am. There was a strategic partnership between New Map and Edo State government. They were able to address that. If you see the stormwater project there, if you see the drains that carry all the water from Auchi that gather, all the water from Auchi flow and gather around the after the Uchi market, just down the road there where you have former now Fort Oil, former AP filling station. Just in the that junction with New Nigerian Bank. We are giving this description so that those who are there can agree that I dey here, now here I dey stay. We dey see these things when they talk.
Thank God somebody called from Auchi just now.
Good.
And you asked him where exactly. I'm not an Auchi person, but I'm sure you knew the place because the way you answered.
Yes.
That's to tell you that people. I watched even on
He
social
said it
media.
comes on Iyeke.
Okay.
So it comes from Iyeke to carry water. Now, these projects ought to have been, at the pace Adams Oshiomhole and his government were working, in the next 100 years, at the pace at which Adams was working, we will not still have been able to complete total deflooding of our city. But because of the abandonment that suffered in the past 4 years now, it has further set us back by another 50 years. So we are now looking at a serious government coming in to work day and night. In another 150 years, we have not deflooded this city. But there are catchment areas that when you do some of these things, it immediately reduces the water, and you continue to expand. In Auchi now, Igbe Road is now a gully erosion site. As I'm saying it, people are watching us. You can go there.
I don't know if Mahmood or you went to, before Adams' administration, you went to places like Imiegba. You know the road leading to Imiegba was a hill.
No, you have to climb principalities and powers
now,
to get
I'm going to tell you because I'm from Musea. If you know Daba Ekperi, you know it's waterlogged area. Just the same way works were going on in Edo South. I don't know if I say it was going on even better in Edo North.
No, you can. Truth be told.
You understand? Because when I saw the bridges he was building around Ekperi, you know, like, because there were areas where they could not have
walk. Swamp. It's a swamp area.
They needed to like create a connection.
So who built those bridges?
That was Adams Oshiomohle's administration. Still on this irrigation and water storm project control. They are not side of it. I could tell you that because my place is not too far from Udaba, Ekperi. Because you know, from there you get to Anegbete, Udaba, Ekperi, and then you come out of Fuga. There were massive construction in all of that area. You know, that's why sometimes when I hear my brother Greg sometimes talk about it, I said you benefit. My village did not benefit. You understand?
That you didn't get a school?
My village did not benefit from that water storm.
But you got a school.
Whatever.
So what?
The Right Roof Revolution got to my place, yes. But the point I'm making is, we are saying how much people benefited. I could understand sometimes when you see some people's sentiment when it comes, because some of them feel like,
should have done more.
Yeah, even in Esan land. But you see, that's a story for another day. Going by it, I'm telling you that Adams Oshiomhole made Edo State a construction site. I only saw that in 2005 when I went to Akwa Ibom, when Obon Victor Atta was there as governor. You know, he was architect. Yes. Then he was designing the roads and mastering it. And then he had a good successor, and then all went on in Akwa. So, point I'm making is that the promises that have been made by this governor, we have actually not seen it. Because when I went to Texas Road the other day, the Texas Road people do not understand. I saw some of them clamoring, he's doing it. And I was trying to match this with the standard Adams was doing that water storm project. This is a far deviation.
That Textile Road ought to have a big drain.
Yes.
The same way you
are
have
doing small gutter arrangement with a casting on top.
Small gutter.
Yes, now I saw it now. So, and I was just saying, if only these folk can go to Igbinaduwa can go to
what
power
happened
line and go see the original design of what the Benin Waterstone project is. Because that to the Benin Waterstone project, we have 13 roads, which included Ekenwa Road, which included Texano Road, TV Road, and all whatnot. Just compare the works done at TV Road to that of Siloko Road.
So as we come to the end of this this show, quickly address Comrade Solomon, if you will. There was a promise made to the widow of a driver.
At 30 seconds.
Yes, who lost her husband. I think it was 10 million that
10
was
million.
promised her. What's
Later,
that?
on that day, it was 10 million naira. Later, I said it was a trust fund. It was no longer
Cash.
cash.
Has any of them been redeemed?
About 3 weeks ago or 2, the family of that deceased person made a protest that the money promised them, that the addition is winding up, and they still not gotten it. You are just talking of only that woman. What about Welu Market? That a committee was set up to tomorrow. We have not gotten anything, reports. You know, nothing is happening. Or you want to talk about the Kiosa Market that got 100 million promise. 100 million. The governor announced it. I don't know if PD can arrange for us to see those promises he made. But you know what they got? They got Jara as a surprise package. And from our bush schedule, we are aware from our bush schedule that belongs to Godwin Obaseki.
You mean the Jara
The
supermarket?
Jara supermarket, that's the compensation.
Wahala dey.
So you see, so
what are your closing thoughts?
so
on
our
this?
closing thought is that stop doing business with Edo people. Stop giving us audio money. Stop building castles in the air. You understand? Stop building castles in the air. Stop making unreal or making real what is not real, or making unreal what is real. I can say, like my brother will always say, that this government has a policy, one very vital policy, the policy to lie to Edo people. You have not been able to perform up to 50% of what you had promised. And that is total gap, a total deviation, a total navigation from the original, if you like, master plan or the promises that you made. So I've always maintained there are so much gaps between the promises and performance of Obaseki.
Comrade Idris Zekeri, Obaseki's litany of failed promises, Operation Wabaizigan. Use that as your closing argument. Let us hear.
No, when sometime 2 years ago, thereabout, the governor came out and cried that because of the commissioner of police, I can't remember his name now. One Hausa man who was
I think Gwandu also.
yes, who was commissioner of police Gwandu. Because of Gwandu, his security architecture, you know, the government has a way, they are very good with giving big names
To small dog.
to small projects, to small dog. You know what they say? Now big name they kill dog. So they gave big names. Say Gwandu was the cog in the wheel of progress in realizing the security architecture of Edo State that will make Edo people sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Gwandu was removed on the orders of the governor.
Several was transferred.
Yes, it was transferred. A new commissioner was brought, and then the governor glamorously launched Operation Waba Ezigan. Now, when he launched Waba Ezigan, they brought cars. Normally, you and I know that the police use Hilux vehicle because of the nature of our roads, our terrains. They brought Chinese vehicles. Most of those Chinese vehicles, jack vehicles, most of those Chinese vehicles have since broken down because they are not even meant, they cannot survive our terrain. Some of them, the police will be chasing armed robber, the thing will switch off on the road. Police will come down and be looking for battery to start, armed robber has since left. Now, Waba Ezigan, having known the operatives of Waba Ezigan, having known the frustration associated with it, immediately relaxed from their core duty of chasing criminals. They now focus on Yahoo boys. As we speak, if a Yahoo boy, you may just be walking on the street, then you see a young handsome boy running. Look around you, there's a Waba Ezigan very quiet.
And that Yahoo syndrome seems to be now that Godwin is governor that Nake, because it wasn't common like that. Then we were hearing traveling. They shut down traveling.
No.
Did that not bring?
Yahoo now has replaced Libya. Because not because governor shut down Libya. You can't shut down Libya. The Boko Haram crisis, the crisis in Libya, the crisis in Mali. People don't want to die.
Okay.
So it is a race of survival. So Waba Isigana quickly metamorphosed to the Yahoo boy wing of the Nigerian police. It used to be SARS. Now Waba Isigana is in charge of Yahoo boy tax collection. You understand? Now the most shameful part of it was that this Waba Isigana is now being used to chase political opponents. So immediately we finish this program, so we are stepping out from the studio now. If you see Waba Isigana very quick,
They've come for us.
you just know that you have been targeted. So in a nutshell,
And we got to know that Gwando then, the issues between them was the issue of security votes.
okay.
That was
No security vote. That one is a story for another day. The governor, I would say, receives it used to be 500 million. Some of us have criticized security votes. Security vote is what you use to cure insecurity. When court boys are fighting, you call them, you settle them, because there are criminals everywhere. But they say he receives 750. It
it's
gives
not 900.
it gives
I saw
only
it on
okay. It gives only 5 million to the police, because government ought to give the police some money for them to buy fuel and do their logistics. Federal government are giving you men and equipment and bullets and guns. Should they come and feed you again when you are the CSO of your state? Give them 5 million. So let's leave Gwando issue. Now, like I said, Waba guy is now the Yahoo boy wing of the Nigerian police. In conclusion, like the parable my good friend, my co-commentator made, it is better to eat chicken and live than to eat elephant and die. What we are seeing in Edona is that they promise us elephant. We have eaten the elephant. We are dying gradually. It would have been better you promise us chicken.
I will get it.
And we get chicken and eat. So now what we want to do, Obaseki, hold your elephant. You see that your elephant, hold it. But you see this is our chicken. Our chicken is our voter's card. We are going to hold this chicken and guard it jealously. So you will be eating your elephant. We will be eating our chicken. That is the level we have found ourselves now. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me to thank Comrade Idris Zekeri and Comrade Solomon Ejiogbe for a very enlightening and educative session under the mango tree. And I want to remind you that COVID-19 is still real and it's still killing. So what do you do to keep safe? When you leave the house, put on your mask, wash your hands, and maintain social distancing at every point in time. Until you come back again under the mango tree, my name is Ahmed Mahmoudou, and I wish you goodbye.